Your shift is over for now. You have carried enough through this day. You have watched yourself closely. You have measured your words, questioned your choices, reviewed your reactions, and tried to become someone who would finally feel easy to love. You have worked hard at being better. You have tried to correct every part of yourself that seemed too sensitive, too quiet, too emotional, too tired, too uncertain, or too much. For this moment, you can put that work down. Life can take the next shift. You do not need to stand guard over your worth. You do not need to keep checking whether you have earned your place. You do not need to inspect your heart for flaws before you rest inside your own presence. The part of you that has been working all day can step away from the desk. It can leave the unfinished papers where they are. It can stop answering questions that have no kind answer tonight. Nothing inside you needs to be repaired before you deserve tenderness. There may be a tired part of you that does not believe this yet. It may still be holding a long list of things you should change. It may say you would be happier if you were more disciplined, more confident, more attractive, more successful, more patient, more certain, more productive, more pleasant, more healed, more advanced, more like the person you think you were supposed to become. That part has worked a very long shift. It has tried to protect you from rejection by finding every possible reason someone might reject you first. It has tried to save you from disappointment by never letting you feel fully satisfied with yourself. It has tried to keep you moving because it fears that if you stop improving, you will stop being valued. You do not have to fight this part. You do not have to shame it for being afraid. You do not have to push it away or order it to be quiet. It has already spent enough time being treated as another problem to solve. You can meet it with the same care it has been trying, in its own exhausted way, to earn for you. Your shift is over. The constant review can end for now. The inner report can remain unfinished. Life can hold what you cannot settle. You may have spent years believing that love waits at the end of self-improvement. You may have lived as though affection were a prize given only after you became less complicated. You may have believed peace would arrive after you removed every habit you disliked, corrected every mistake, understood every wound, and learned how to respond perfectly to every person. This can become such a quiet way of living that you may not even call it self-rejection. It can look responsible. It can look mature. It can look like ambition. You tell yourself you are only trying to grow. You tell yourself you are being honest. You tell yourself that facing your weaknesses is healthy. Sometimes it is. Growth can be loving. Honest reflection can be wise. Taking responsibility can bring freedom, but there is a difference between growing because you care for yourself and changing because you cannot stand yourself. There is a difference between learning and endlessly putting yourself on trial. There is a difference between taking responsibility for an action and deciding that the action proves something terrible about your whole being. You may know this difference in your mind, yet still struggle to live it in your body. Your thoughts may say, "Everyone makes mistakes," while something deeper says, "Yes, but mine mean I am failing." You may offer understanding to other people while speaking to yourself in a tone you would never use with someone you love. You may give others room to have a difficult day. You may understand their fear, stress, history, and confusion. You may see the full human being behind their sharp words or poor decisions. Yet when you have a difficult day, you may reduce yourself to one moment, one reaction, one unfinished task, one awkward conversation, one choice you wish you could change. Then the fixing begins. You replay what you said. You rewrite the conversation. You search for the exact point where you became wrong. You wonder whether your face looked strange, whether your voice sounded weak, whether you shared too much, whether you were too quiet, whether you should have stayed longer, left sooner, answered differently, or said nothing at all. You check messages for signs. You read pauses as judgments. You study the smallest change in someone's tone. You try to decide what their silence means. You think about sending another message to explain yourself. Then you worry that explaining will make things worse. You type. You erase. You type again. You close the screen. You reopen it. You try to find the perfect sentence that will protect you from being misunderstood. You may call this communication, but beneath there can be fear. The fear says, if they misunderstand me, I may lose their love. The fear says, if they are disappointed, I must quickly become different. The fear says, if someone pulls away, I need to search myself until I find the defect that caused it. This is such heavy work. You may carry it into every room. You may watch yourself while you speak instead of being fully present in what you are saying. One part of you has the conversation, while another part stands nearby and evaluates your performance. It checks whether you sound intelligent enough, calm enough, warm enough, interesting enough, or agreeable enough. You may feel tired after being around people, not because you dislike them, but because you have been managing yourself every second. You have been arranging your expression, controlling your reactions, hiding what might seem inconvenient, and trying to create the safest possible version of you. Then you go home and review the shift. You remember every moment you were not perfect. You forget the moments you were real. You forget the care you offered. You forget the effort you made. You forget that being human is not a performance that can be completed without uncertainty. You may also try to fix yourself through constant preparation. You prepare for conversations that may never happen. You rehearse answers to questions no one has asked. You plan how you will stay calm if someone says the exact thing that hurts you most. You imagine future problems and try to become strong enough before they arrive. You believe that if you think through every possibility, you will not be caught off guard. Yet the mind can keep creating new possibilities. There is always another response to prepare, another outcome to prevent, another version of yourself to build, another weakness to remove before you feel safe. You may wake with the feeling that you are already behind. Before your feet touch the floor, the inner voice begins listing what must be improved. Your body should have more energy. Your mind should be clearer. Your work should be further ahead. Your relationships should feel easier. Your home should be more organized. Your future should be more certain. Even quiet moments can become assignments. You sit down, and instead of resting, you think about how to rest correctly. You try to calm down, then become frustrated because calm does not arrive fast enough. You read about healing and turn every new idea into another standard you must meet. You learn about boundaries and criticize yourself for not setting them sooner. You learn about self-respect and feel ashamed of the times you abandoned your own needs. Even kindness can become another demand. You tell yourself to love yourself, then judge yourself because you do not know how. You repeat words about worth, then feel discouraged because part of you remains unconvinced. You try to be positive, then become afraid of your sadness. You try to forgive, then blame yourself because toi aussi, pain is still present. You may believe you are failing at healing when you are only moving at a human pace. There is nothing wrong with wanting to feel better. There is nothing wrong with changing habits that cause harm, making amends when needed, seeking support, or learning new ways to care for your life. You are permitted to grow. You are permitted to become wiser. You are permitted to choose differently. But growth does not have to begin with rejection. You do not have to dislike who you are in order to care for who you are becoming. You do not have to speak cruelly to yourself to create change. You do not have to keep yourself emotionally hungry so you will continue working for small pieces of approval. The belief that you must be fixed can enter many parts of your life. It may appear when you look in the mirror. Your eyes do not meet your whole face. They move directly toward what you think should be different. You do not see the years you have survived. You do not see the expressions that have comforted others. You do not see the life in your eyes. You search for evidence that your appearance is not acceptable enough yet. It may appear in your work. You complete something meaningful, yet your mind moves straight to what could have been stronger. Praise feels uncomfortable because you can see all the places where the result did not match the picture in your head. You may fear that accepting praise will make you lazy, so you keep yourself dissatisfied. It may appear in love. Someone cares for you, and instead of receiving that care, you wonder what they have not discovered yet. You worry that closeness will reveal the parts you have tried to hide. You may test their love, pull away from it, over-explain yourself, or work too hard to deserve what they were already offering. It may appear in friendship. You become the dependable one, the listener, the helper. the person who does not ask for much. You keep your needs small because you fear that needing comfort will make you difficult. You may give more than you can sustain, then feel guilty when you become tired. It may appear in family. You try to be the calm one, the successful one, the forgiving one, or the one who never creates concern. You may believe that your value depends on how little trouble you cause. You may hold your feelings until they become too heavy, then blame yourself when they finally show. It may appear when you make a mistake. Instead of saying, "I did something I regret," you say, "This is who I am." Instead of learning from the moment, you turn the moment into an identity. A missed deadline becomes proof that you are irresponsible. A poor decision becomes proof that you cannot trust yourself. A difficult emotion becomes proof that you are not healed. A boundary expressed imperfectly becomes proof that you are selfish. A day of low energy becomes proof that you lack discipline. One person's inability to understand you becomes proof that you are impossible to understand. This is the grip you may not have known you were carrying. You have not only been trying to manage your life, you have been trying to manage the meaning of every event. You have been trying to make sure nothing happens that might confirm your deepest fear about yourself. You may fear that you are too much, or not enough, too emotional, too distant, too slow, too intense, too ordinary, too needy, too independent, too late, too damaged. The fear changes its language, but its demand remains the same. Become different before you relax. That demand can follow you through good days too. Something beautiful happens and you struggle to receive it because you are already thinking about how to keep it. Someone appreciates you, and you immediately wonder how long their appreciation will last. You reach a goal, and instead of feeling the moment, you begin planning the next improvement. The mind says, "Do not get comfortable." It believes comfort is dangerous. It believes satisfaction will weaken you. It believes self-acceptance means giving up. But accepting yourself does not mean refusing to grow. It means you stop using shame as the price of growth. It means you can look honestly at your actions without abandoning the person who took them. It means you can say, "This needs care," without saying, "I am unworthy until this changes." You can take responsibility and remain on your own side. You can repair harm without treating yourself as harmful. You can learn from the past without living inside punishment. You can ask for help without deciding that the need for help makes you broken. Some burdens are too heavy to carry alone. There may be times when support from a trusted person, a counselor, a doctor, or another qualified professional is wise and necessary. Seeking that care is not failure. Words of comfort can support your well-being, but they do not have to replace practical help. Your safety matters. Your health matters. Your life deserves real support when real support is needed. You do not prove strength by suffering in silence. You do not prove worth by handling everything alone. The habit of self-fixing often began for a reason. There was likely a time when watching yourself closely helped you feel safer. You may have learned that approval changed quickly. You may have lived around people whose moods were difficult to predict. You may have discovered that being useful brought warmth, while having needs brought distance. You may have been praised for being mature when what you really needed was permission to be young, uncertain, emotional, or supported. You may have learned to study the room before you studied your own feelings. You may have learned to adapt quickly. You may have learned to apologize even when you were hurt. You may have learned to become easy to manage. You may have learned that love felt more available when you were achieving, helping, agreeing, smiling, or staying quiet. None of this means there is something wrong with you. It means you found ways to remain connected. A child does not always have the power to change the conditions around them. A child often changes themselves instead. The young mind may decide, if I become better, kinder, quieter, stronger, or more useful, perhaps everything will feel safe. That decision can follow you into adulthood long after the original situation has passed. You may still be trying to earn the security you needed then. You may still be proving that you are not a burden. You may still be hiding your disappointment because you fear it will cost you connection. You may still be trying to fix yourself before anyone else has the chance to criticize you. Self-criticism can feel like preparation. You believe that if you identify every weakness first, no one can surprise you with it. If you reject the imperfect parts before others see them, their rejection may hurt less. If you stay one step ahead of judgment, you may remain safe. This habit was not foolish. It was protective. It tried to create control in places where you had very little. It tried to keep love close. It tried to reduce conflict. It tried to help you belong. You can honor the reason without continuing the pattern. You can say to that old protective part, I understand why you began. You can say, you were trying to help me. You can say, you do not have to work every shift anymore. There is no need to force that part to retire all at once. It may not know what to do with rest. It may feel anxious when you stop evaluating yourself. It may quickly produce another concern, another memory, another area to improve. That is not proof that you are doing anything wrong. It is only a familiar system continuing its familiar work. For a long time, this system may have been rewarded. People may have admired your high standards. They may have depended on your ability to anticipate problems. They may have praised your discipline, your reliability, your calmness, or your willingness to take responsibility. They may not have seen the cost. They may not have known how much fear lived beneath your preparation. They may not have known that every compliment became another standard you felt required to maintain. Being called strong may have made it harder to admit you were tired. Being called kind may have made it harder to say no. Being called capable may have made it harder to ask for help. Being called mature may have made it harder to admit that part of you still needed comfort. You may have built an identity around being the one who manages well. Then a difficult day arrives, and you feel ashamed because you cannot perform that identity perfectly. You may think, I should be able to handle this. You may think, I know better than this. You may think, after everything I have learned, why am I still reacting this way? Knowledge does not erase humanity. Understanding your patterns does not mean you will never enter them again. Healing does not make you emotionally untouched. It gives you a kinder way to return. You are not failing because an old fear visited you. Oh. You are not failing because you needed reassurance. You are not failing because you became overwhelmed. You are not failing because you made a choice from pain. You are not failing because you still have days when you question yourself. You are living. You are learning. You are responding with the tools available to you in each moment. Some tools are old, some are new, some work better than others. You can choose differently without speaking to yourself as though you are the enemy. The wish to fix yourself may become strongest after regret. You remember a time you ignored your own truth, a time you stayed too long, a time you said yes while your whole being wanted to say no, a time you trusted someone who was not careful with your trust, a time you hurt someone because you were hurting. Regret can be useful when it guides you toward responsibility. It becomes painful when it turns into permanent self-punishment. You may keep replaying the event because part of you believes suffering is proof that you care. You fear that forgiving yourself would mean the mistake did not matter. You fear that offering yourself compassion would excuse what happened. Compassion is not the removal of responsibility. It is the condition that makes honest responsibility possible. When you attack yourself, you often become busy defending, hiding, or collapsing. When you meet yourself with steadiness, you can see more clearly. You can apologize. You can make a repair where repair is possible. You can change a pattern. You can accept consequences without turning them into a lifelong sentence against your worth. You can learn without destroying your inner home. You may have confused punishment with goodness. You may believe that a good person must feel bad for a very long time after doing something wrong. Yet endless shame does not always create wisdom. Sometimes it only keeps you focused on yourself and your pain. Real responsibility asks a different question. It asks, what can I do now that reflects what I have learned? That question does not require hatred. It requires presence. It requires courage. It requires enough self-respect to believe you are capable of choosing again. There are also things you may be trying to fix that were never defects. Your sensitivity may not be a defect. Your need for quiet may not be a defect. Your wish for reassurance may not be a defect. Your pace may not be a defect. Your tears may not be a defect. Your boundaries may not be a defect. Your desire for depth may not be a defect. Your discomfort in places that require you to betray yourself may not be a defect. Not every part of you needs to become more convenient for others. Not every feeling needs to disappear. Not every relationship needs to be preserved. Not every misunderstanding is yours to correct. Not every person will see you clearly, no matter how carefully you explain. You can spend years trying to become understandable to someone who is committed to misunderstanding you. You can keep changing your tone, your timing, your needs, and your words. You can make yourself smaller and softer. You can offer more proof. You can become exhausted while they remain unwilling to meet you with care. Their refusal does not define your value. Walking away from harm is not a failure of love. Setting a boundary is not cruelty. Protecting your safety is not selfishness. You are not required to stay where your dignity is repeatedly injured. Acceptance does not mean approving mistreatment. Peace does not mean remaining in danger. Care for others does not demand abandonment of yourself. The part of you that keeps trying to fix everything may become frightened by these truths. It may say that if you stop changing, people will leave. Some may. Not because you became unworthy, but because the relationship depended on your self-erasure. That loss can hurt. You do not have to pretend otherwise. You can grieve and still choose yourself. You can miss someone and still protect your life. You can love and still refuse what harms you. You can understand another person's pain without making their behavior your responsibility. This is where your shift begins to end, not because every question has been answered, not because every fear has disappeared, not because you have reached a perfect state of self-acceptance. Your shift ends because constant self-surveillance is not the only way to live. You can begin to set down the belief that you must earn rest through improvement. You can begin to set down the belief that love is waiting for a future version of you. You can begin to set down the belief that every difficult feeling is an emergency. For this moment, you do not need to become more impressive. You do not need to become less complicated. You do not need to prove that you have learned every lesson. You can be unfinished and still belong to yourself. You can be uncertain and still deserve patience. You can have regrets and still be capable of goodness. You can carry old pain and still be worthy of present care. You can need support and still be strong. You can change and still respect the person you were before the change. Life is taking the next shift now. It is holding the questions you cannot answer through more thinking. It is holding the conversations you cannot control. It is holding the opinions you cannot manage. It is holding tomorrow before you arrive there. Your only task in this moment is not to create a better self. It is to stop leaving the self who is already here. The self who is already here has been waiting for your kindness, not for another correction, not for another lecture. not for another promise that you will become easier to love tomorrow. This self has been waiting for you to remain, to stay close when embarrassment rises, to stay close when old fear speaks, to stay close when you do not know what to do, to stay close when you wish you had chosen differently. For so long, you may have believed that staying close to yourself required constant supervision. You watched Eve, every thought because you feared the wrong thought would create the wrong life. You watched every feeling because you feared sadness might pull you backward. You watched every choice because you feared one mistake could undo all your progress. You became both the person living your life and the person standing over it. One part of you moved through the day, another part kept checking the work. Was that response wise enough? Was that emotion healthy enough? Was that boundary clear enough? Was that rest productive enough? Did you handle that moment like someone who has grown? Did you appear secure? Did you appear calm? Did you appear lovable? This watching may have become so familiar that you mistake it for awareness. Awareness sees without punishment. Surveillance searches for a reason to correct. Awareness says, this is what is happening. Surveillance says, this should not be happening. Awareness brings you closer to yourself. Surveillance makes you feel like you are always being observed by someone who is difficult to please. You may have carried that observer from an earlier time. It may speak in words you once heard from others. It may use a face, a tone, or an expression that once made you feel small. It may have learned to criticize you before anyone else had the chance. Now it sounds like your own voice. It says you should have known better. It says other people manage life more easily. It says you are taking too long. It says you are too sensitive to ordinary things. It says you have read enough, learned enough, and tried enough to have no excuse for struggling. But pain does not disappear because you have learned its name. Fear does not always leave because you understand where it began. A pattern does not vanish the first time you see it clearly. Sometimes understanding is only the beginning of a new relationship with what is present. You do not have to turn that relationship into another test. You do not need to prove that you understand perfectly. You do not need to respond with ideal calm every time an old wound is touched. You can be aware and still be affected. You can know and still need time. You can have tools and still have difficult moments. The body often responds before the mind can arrange a graceful answer. Your shoulders tighten, your breath becomes shallow, your face changes, your stomach contracts, your thoughts speed up. You may feel the urge to defend, explain, disappear, please, or take control. Then the inner critic arrives after the moment and says, you should have handled that differently. It forgets that the reaction began before a full decision was available. It forgets that your body has its own history. It forgets that change is practiced in real time, often imperfectly. You can still take responsibility for what you do next. You can return to a conversation. You can correct a misunderstanding. You can apologize when an apology is needed. You can seek support. You can learn. But you do not have to insult yourself into wisdom. Life has never required your hatred in order to teach you. Much of what keeps you alive and moving does not wait for your approval. Your heart continues its work while you question yourself. Your lungs continue while you wonder whether you are enough. Your body keeps making thousands of quiet adjustments without asking you to manage each one. You do not instruct every breath. You do not direct every heartbeat. You do not command your skin to renew itself. You do not supervise every movement of your eyes, every sound entering your ears, or every signal passing through your nerves. Life is active within you even when your conscious mind is tired. This is not a promise that every difficulty will solve itself. It is not a reason to ignore care, treatment, boundaries, planning, or wise action. It is evidence that your existence has never depended entirely on your constant control. There are processes within you that continue while you sleep. There are understandings that form after you stop forcing an answer. There are emotions that move when they are no longer questioned every second. There are choices that become clearer after you give your mind space. You may have noticed that some answers arrive when you are not chasing them. A sentence becomes clear while you are washing your hands. A decision feels more honest after you have stopped arguing with yourself. A feeling changes after you have given it room to exist without demanding an immediate lesson. This does not happen because you failed to work hard enough before. It happens because the mind is not the only part of you capable of processing life. Your whole being participates. Your body remembers. Your emotions carry information. Your values remain present beneath confusion. Your need for safety speaks. Your need for truth speaks. Your need for dignity speaks. You do not have to turn every inner signal into a command. You can listen without obeying every fear. You can respect a feeling without building your whole future around it. You can hear the protective part and still choose from a steadier place. This is a more loving form of responsibility. It does not abandon action. It removes the belief that action must come from self-rejection. You may have been told that pressure brings out your best. At times, pressure may help you complete a task. It may sharpen your focus for a short period. But living under constant inner pressure is different. It can make every ordinary moment feel like evidence in a case against you. You wake up tired and call yourself lazy. You need reassurance and call yourself weak. You hesitate and call yourself incapable. You change your mind and call yourself unreliable. You protect your energy and call yourself selfish. You feel hurt and call yourself dramatic. You rest and call yourself unproductive. The label arrives before understanding. The judgment arrives before care. What would change if you became curious before becoming cruel? You could ask, what made today heavy? You could ask, what am I needing that I have not named? You could ask, what did this moment touch inside me? You could ask, is this task truly mine? You could ask, would support make this easier? You could ask, what is the smallest, honest next step? These questions do not excuse harmful behavior. They make room for real understanding. They help you respond to the cause instead of only attacking the symptom. You have tried attacking the symptom. You have called yourself names. You have made strict promises. You have compared yourself to people whose private struggles you cannot see. You have taken away rest as though exhaustion were a moral lesson. You have tried to frighten yourself into change. You have tried to shame yourself into confidence. You have tried to criticize yourself into peace. You know how that feels. It may create movement, but the movement carries fear. It may create achievement, but the achievement does not feel safe to receive. It may create discipline, but the discipline becomes another place where love is withheld. There is another way to meet your life. It begins without pretending that everything is easy. It begins without calling every part of you perfect. It begins with the decision that your worth will no longer be used as a bargaining tool. You can examine a habit without putting your worth on the table. You can change a behavior without threatening yourself with abandonment. You can hear feedback without turning it into a complete definition of who you are. You can admit, I need to work on this, while also knowing I remain worthy of care. This is not a weak position. It asks more honesty than shame does. Shame quickly turns the whole self into the problem. Once everything is wrong, nothing specific has to be understood. Loving responsibility is more precise. It asks what happened, what impact occurred, what needs repair, what support is needed, and what can be practiced differently. It does not waste energy proving that you are terrible. It uses energy to create a wiser response. Life already knows how to continue around unfinished parts. A conversation can remain unresolved for a while. A decision can wait until more information arrives. A feeling can exist without becoming your permanent identity. A relationship can change without proving that the entire connection was meaningless. A mistake can become part of your history without becoming the name of your future. You have been trying to complete yourself as though you were a task, but a human life is not completed in that way. There is no final morning when every insecurity has disappeared, every habit is perfect, every relationship is clear, and every part of you behaves exactly as planned. There may be beautiful periods of steadiness, there may be deep growth, there may be healing that changes how you live, and still you will remain human. You will have tender places. You will have limits. You will have days when your energy is different. You will need things from others. You will misunderstand and be misunderstood. You will learn truths that change earlier choices. You will outgrow roles that once felt necessary. You will sometimes return to an old response before remembering the new one. None of this removes your value. The wish to become flawless has often been the wish to become safe from rejection. If you could become perfect, you imagined no one would leave. If you could become endlessly useful, you imagined no one would become disappointed. If you could become calm enough, beautiful enough, successful enough, or undemanding enough, you imagined love would finally stay without conditions. But perfection cannot create the safety you are seeking. Perfection asks you to reject yourself every day for not reaching it. It becomes the very condition that keeps love away from your present experience. Even when another person loves you, you may not feel it fully because you are busy comparing yourself with the version you believe they deserve. Even when life offers rest, you may not receive it because you are busy earning the right to stop. Even when you do something well, you may not feel proud because you are already searching for the part that should have been better. The problem is not that you have not improved enough. The problem is that the finish line keeps moving whenever you approach it. You may achieve one thing and immediately create another requirement. You may heal one part and immediately search for another wound. You may become more confident and then criticize yourself for the days when confidence is quiet. You may set a boundary and then question whether you set it perfectly. You may learn to rest and then evaluate the quality of the rest. The mind that believes worth must be earned cannot remain satisfied for long. Its job is to find the next condition. You can thank it for trying to protect you. Then you can stop giving it complete authority. There are parts of your life that benefit from planning. There are tasks that require attention. There are responsibilities that belong to you. There are repairs that should be made. There are promises that should be kept. You do not need to abandon these things. You only need to stop making your humanity the enemy while you handle them. You can send the message. You can make the appointment. You can complete the work. You can ask for help. You can leave what is unsafe. You can return what is not yours. You can tell the truth. You can do these things without repeating, "I will be worthy after this is done." Your worth does not wait behind the task. It goes with you into the task. It remains while you learn. It remains while you correct. It remains while you begin again. Some part of you may resist this. It may say, "If I accept myself now, I will never change." This fear deserves patience. It has known only two positions, pressure or collapse. It thinks that without criticism, you will stop caring. But care can create movement. Respect can create discipline. Compassion can support courage. You can choose a healthy habit because your body matters, not because you hate its appearance. You can improve your communication because connection matters, not because you believe you are impossible to love. You can become more reliable because your word matters, not because one mistake made you worthless. You can seek healing because your peace matters, not because your pain makes you unacceptable. The action may look similar from the outside. Inside, everything is different. One path says, change or I will reject you. The other says, I am staying with you while we learn. One path creates fear of every setback. The other understands that setbacks are part of practice. One path keeps love conditional. The other makes love the place from which change begins. You may not know how to remain with yourself yet. You may have learned to remain with everyone else first. You learned their preferences, their moods, their silences, their needs. You learned how to anticipate what would make them comfortable. You learned how to adjust your words. You learned how to make space for their feelings. Now you are learning your own presence. This may feel unfamiliar. You may sit with yourself and immediately search for something to improve. You may become restless when no task is available. You may reach for noise because silence reveals how often you have been speaking harshly inside. You do not have to force closeness with yourself. You can begin in small ways. You can stop one cruel sentence before finishing it. You can replace one accusation with one honest observation. You can admit that you are tired without creating a character judgment. You can take a breath before deciding what a mistake means. You can place your hand where tension has gathered and remain there for a moment. You can say, I am here. Not as a perfect affirmation, not as a performance. As a fact, you are here. The part of you that is afraid is here. The part that wants to be loved is here. The part that keeps working is here. The part that does not know how to stop is here. The part that has carried old words for years is here. You do not need to remove any of these parts before you offer presence. Think of the way hair may be gathered through a long day. Strands are separated, crossed, pulled, and held. The shape stays because tension keeps each part in place. It may look neat from the outside. It may appear controlled. But by the end of the day, the scalp can feel the strain. The roots remember every pull. What looked ordered has carried pressure for hours. This is how you may have held yourself. You have separated acceptable feelings from unacceptable ones. You have crossed your needs beneath the needs of others. You have pulled your reactions into shapes that seemed safer. You have held everything tightly so no part would appear out of place. From the outside, you may have looked composed. Inside, you felt every pull. The answer is not to tear the braid apart. The answer is not to become angry at the strands for being held. The answer is not to cut away every part that became tangled. The loosening can happen slowly. Fingers can begin at the place where the holding ends. One crossing at a time, one small section, one careful movement. Nothing needs to be ripped. Nothing needs to be punished for becoming tight. The braid formed through repeated motion. It can soften through repeated care. You may feel the first small loosening when you stop calling your exhaustion laziness. One strand is freed. You may feel another when you stop explaining a boundary to someone who has already decided not to respect it. Another strand is freed. You may feel another when you admit that a certain expectation never belonged to you. Another strand is freed. You may feel another when you stop measuring your life against someone else's timing. Another strand is freed. The braid does not disappear all at once. It begins to lose its pull. You may still feel the old structure. You may still reach for the familiar crossings. You may still gather yourself tightly before entering certain rooms. This does not erase the softening. It only shows where more patience is needed. Some strands have been held for a very long time. The belief that you must be useful to be loved may be woven close to the beginning. The belief that rest must be earned may be crossed through many choices. The belief that mistakes make you unsafe may be pulled through your work, your relationships, and your private thoughts. The belief that someone else's disappointment means you have done something wrong may be tied into many memories. These beliefs cannot always be argued away in one moment. They may need to be met each time the tension returns, not with force, with steadiness. You can say, "This is an old crossing." You can say, "I know why this tightened." You can say, "I do not need to pull harder." You can begin where your fingers can reach. Perhaps today you cannot fully believe that you are worthy without improvement. You do not need to pretend. Pretending creates another form of pressure. You can begin with a smaller truth. You are willing to stop attacking yourself for one moment. You are willing to question one old judgment. You are willing to consider that your worth may be deeper than your performance. You are willing to treat one mistake as an event instead of an identity. You are willing to rest before everything is settled. Willingness is enough for the next strand. You do not need the whole braid to fall open now. You do not need complete freedom in one sitting. You are not trying to create another standard called perfect self-acceptance. You are learning the movement of loosening. There may be moments when the hair catches. A small knot may resist. Pulling harder would create pain. So the fingers stop. They return with more care. They separate what can be separated. Louise Hay, work around the tight place. They do not declare the whole braid a failure because one part needs time. You can offer yourself the same wisdom. There may be an old wound that does not soften through kind words alone. It may need professional support. It may need distance from a harmful environment. It may need medical care, legal care, practical protection, or the presence of someone trustworthy. Care is not always quiet. Sometimes care makes a call. Sometimes care leaves. Sometimes care documents what happened. Sometimes care asks another person to stand beside you. Sometimes care refuses to carry shame that belongs elsewhere. The purpose is not to remain still while harm continues. The purpose is to stop treating yourself as the cause of every pain. You are permitted to take wise action and remain tender with with yourself. You are permitted to protect your life. You are permitted to say that something hurt. You are permitted to believe your own experience. You are permitted to loosen the strand that says, I must have caused this. Not everything was yours to prevent. Not everything was yours to repair. Not everything was yours to understand. Some people acted from their own wounds, choices, limitations, or unwillingness. You may have spent years pulling yourself tighter, trying to become the person who could have changed them. You could not become careful enough to make another person careful. You could not become loving enough to make another person honest. You could not become small enough to make an unsafe place safe. You could not become perfect enough to control someone else's capacity for love. That strand has carried enormous tension. It can begin to loosen. You may feel sadness as it does. Relief is not always the first feeling. Sometimes grief comes first. You see how hard you worked. You see how often you blamed yourself. You see how much time was spent becoming what you thought someone else required. Do not use this grief to attack your past self. That self was trying to stay connected. That self used the understanding available then. That self deserved protection too. You can hold the strand without pulling it. You can recognize it. You can say, you were trying to keep love. Then you can choose a new crossing. Love that requires your disappearance is not the love your life must be built around. Care that depends on silence is not complete care. Belonging that demands self-betrayal comes at too high a cost. You do not have to hate anyone to know this. You do not have to prove that they were entirely bad. You do not have to create a perfect explanation. You can name the effect. You can honor the pain. You can choose what protects you now. Another strand may hold the belief that your value rises and falls with productivity. On days when you complete many tasks, you feel temporarily acceptable. On days when energy is low, you feel ashamed. Your body becomes something you command instead of something you live within. Ask what it can produce before asking what it needs. You praise it when it keeps going. You become frustrated when it asks you to stop. This strand can loosen too. Your body is not a machine that must earn care through output. It is part of you. It carries your experiences. It signals strain. It participates in joy. It needs food, rest, movement, safety, and attention, whether or not you completed everything planned. Caring for your body is not a reward for achievement. It is part of being alive. You may still have duties on a tired day. You may still need to finish something important. The change is in the way you speak inwardly while you do it. You can say, "We are tired and we will take the next step." You can say, "This is difficult and I will not make it cruel." You can say, "I need help." You can say, "This must wait." You can say, "Today's capacity is different." These are not excuses. They are accurate statements. Accuracy creates better choices than shame. As the braid softens, the shape begins to change. It does not become ruined, it becomes less constrained. The strands return to their natural movement. They may hold waves from the hours of being crossed. Evidence of the old form may remain for a while. This is not failure, it is memory. You may also carry the shape of old pressure after you begin treating yourself differently. You may feel guilty while resting. You may feel anxious after setting a healthy boundary. You may question yourself after telling the truth. You may feel exposed when receiving love without overworking for it. These feelings do not mean the new choice was wrong. They may be the remaining shape of an old way of holding yourself. Give the strands time. Do not gather them tightly again, just because freedom feels unfamiliar. Let the movement be uneven. Let one part soften before another. Let your care become more consistent than your criticism. There is no prize for rushing. You have rushed enough. You have tried to become acceptable before someone changed their mind. You have tried to heal before another disappointment arrived. You have tried to improve before anyone noticed your fear. Now the pace can change. The hands within you can become patient. The grip can become lighter. The next strand can wait until you are ready to touch it with care. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are learning that love does not have to pull you into shape. It can meet you as you are and remain while you unfold. That may be one of the hardest things to receive. You may understand love when it is offered after effort. You may understand praise after achievement. You may understand rest after exhaustion. You may understand kindness after you have been useful. But love that arrives before proof can feel unfamiliar. Love that does not ask you to improve. First, may make you suspicious. You may wait for the hidden condition. You may wonder what will be expected later. You may search for the reason it was offered. You may oak for the part of yourself that must now work harder to keep it. This is how deeply the old crossings can remain. Even care can become another strand you pull tight. Someone says something kind, and you feel pressure to become the person they described. Someone sees strength in you, and now you believe you must never fall apart. Someone says you are dependable, and now you fear disappointing them by needing rest. Someone calls you loving, and now you feel guilty when you need distance. You take a gift and turn it into a duty. You take affection and turn it into a test. You take acceptance and begin preparing for the moment it might be withdrawn. There is no shame in this. You learned to watch for changing conditions. You learned that warmth could sometimes disappear. You learned that approval could depend on mood, performance, obedience, appearance, or usefulness. Your whole being may still prepare for that change, even when the present moment is safe. This is why you do not need to rush yourself into believing. You can receive one small portion of care. You can let it rest beside you. You do not have to promise that you will keep it forever. You do not have to prove that you deserve it. You can remain near it long enough to discover that it does not immediately ask for payment. The braid unwinds this way. Not through one dramatic movement, through small acts of staying. The fingers find the next crossing. They do not judge how many remain. They do not compare this braid with another. They do not complain that the strands should have loosened sooner. They work with what is present. This is what care can become inside you. You meet the thought that says, I am not enough. You do not shout over it. You do not demand that it disappear. You do not turn it into evidence that you have failed to love yourself. You recognize the crossing. You place steady fingers around it. You say, this thought has been pulled tight many times. You do not need to obey it. You do not need to hate it. You can begin loosening the way it holds you. The thought may return tomorrow. That does not mean today's softening was lost. A strand may cross the same place more than once before it falls free. Each time you meet it differently, the old shape weakens. Each time you refuse to insult yourself, something changes. Each time you stop before turning one mistake into a complete identity, something changes. Each time you choose rest without making yourself guilty for needing it, something changes. Each time you tell the truth about what hurts, something changes. The change may be quieter than the criticism was. Criticism is loud. It demands attention. It uses sharp language because it fears you will stop listening. Care often speaks more slowly. It does not need to threaten. It does not need to exaggerate. It can say, this choice caused harm and we will face it. It can say, this pattern is exhausting and we can learn another way. It can say, this relationship is hurting us and we need support. It can say, this task matters and we can complete it without cruelty. The voice of care is not always soft in meaning. It may ask for a difficult action. It may ask you to admit something, change something, leave something, or begin again. But it does not remove your dignity while asking. It does not make hatred the condition of improvement. You may have believed that harshness was honest. You may have called kindness denial. You may have feared that speaking with care would hide the truth. Yet truth does not become more accurate because it is delivered with contempt. A mistake is still a mistake without adding, I am terrible. A limit is still a limit without adding, I am weak. A need is still a need without adding, I am a burden. A delay is still a delay without adding, I ruin everything. The added sentence is not responsibility. It is an old crossing. It is the extra pull that makes the whole braid ache. You can remove the extra pull and still deal with what happened. You can say, I forgot. You can say, I was afraid. You can say, I did not have the skill then. You can say, I avoided what needed attention. You can say, I want to repair this. These words are honest. They leave room for movement. They do not turn you into something fixed and hopeless. You are more than the moment you regret. You are more than the habit you are changing. You are more than the fear you sometimes follow. You are more than someone else's opinion. You are more than the role you learned to perform. Your life contains many strands. Some have carried joy. Some have carried courage. Some have carried tenderness. Some have carried anger that tried to protect what mattered. Some have carried grief for what should have been different. Some have carried hope through periods when hope was difficult to feel. You may have focused so intensely on the strands you wanted to remove that you stopped seeing the whole of yourself. You searched for flaws and found them because every human being has unfinished places. You searched for evidence of failure and found moments that could be used against you. You searched for reasons love might leave and became skilled at preparing for loss. But there are other truths within you. You have continued after disappointment. You have offered care while carrying your own pain. You have tried again after choices you regretted. You have learned things that once felt impossible to understand. You have protected others. You have survived your own harshest thoughts. You have kept some small part of yourself alive, even during times when self-kindness felt distant. You may not call these things strength because they did not look the way you expected strength to look. Perhaps strength looked like crying and still asking for help. Perhaps strength looked like admitting that you could not keep pretending. Perhaps strength looked like ending a pattern that others accepted. Perhaps strength looked like returning to yourself after abandoning your needs for a long time. Perhaps strength looked like doing less because doing more was harming you. You do not need to create a grand story about these moments. You can acknowledge them. They are part of the braid, too. They are evidence that you have never been made only of fear. Even during years of self-criticism, there was a part of you that wanted care. Why else would you keep searching? Why else would you want change? Why else would words of acceptance affect you so deeply? Beneath the effort to fix yourself was often a wish to feel safe inside your own life. You were not wrong to want that. You were only taught to seek safety through becoming someone else. Now you are learning that safety may also grow through staying close to who you are. You may not feel close yet. You may still feel divided. One part wants peace. Another part says you have not earned it. One part wants to rest. Another part lists everything unfinished. One part wants to receive love. Another part prepares to lose it. You do not have to choose one part and exile the other. The braid is made of crossings. The strands have been held together in ways that sometimes created strain, but they still belong to the same head, the same life, the same person. The frightened part belongs. The critical part belongs. The tired part belongs. The hopeful part belongs. Belonging does not mean every part makes the decisions. It means no part must be hated before you can move forward. You can listen to fear without placing fear in charge. You can hear criticism without making criticism your teacher. You can acknowledge exhaustion without calling exhaustion your identity. You can respect anger without using it to harm. You can hold grief without deciding that grief has closed the future. Each part can be met. Each strand can be handled with care. The critical voice may ask, "What will happen if I stop?" It may believe that your entire life will fall apart. It may remind you of times when pressure produced results. It may show you unfinished responsibilities. It may accuse you of becoming careless. You can answer without fighting. You can say, "I am not stopping all responsibility." You can say, "I am stopping the punishment." You can say, "I will still make choices." You can say, "I will still repair what I can." You can say, "I will not use my worth as a threat." This is the handover. You are not handing away your ability to act. You are handing away the belief that action must come from fear of being unlovable. You are not abandoning growth. You are handing away the belief that growth must begin with disgust. You are not refusing to see your patterns. You are handing away the belief that seeing them requires humiliation. You are not becoming passive. You are ending the inner shift that never lets you leave work. The handover can begin with one sentence. It does not need to be spoken loudly. It does not need to feel completely true. It only needs enough space to enter. I stop fixing and soften into love. Let the words remain without forcing them deeper. You do not have to make yourself agree. You do not have to search for a strong feeling. The sentence can rest beside the old belief. The old belief says, "Love comes after correction." The new sentence does not argue. It stays. I stop fixing and soften into love. There may be resistance now. Your body may tighten around the word love. Your mind may quickly bring forward everything you think still needs improvement. It may say that you cannot stop yet. It may say you are too far from the person you should be. It may say you have responsibilities, wounds, habits, and mistakes that cannot be ignored. The sentence does not ask you to ignore them. It asks you to stop using them as proof that love must wait. Love can exist while work remains. Care can exist while a boundary is learned. Respect can exist while a habit changes. Patience can exist while consequences are faced. You do not have to finish becoming before you can begin belonging. I stop fixing and soften into love. 3 times is enough. No performance is needed. No sudden transformation is required. The braid may still be held, but the fingers have arrived. That matters. Some part of you may still say no. Let the no be honest. You do not have to cover it with beautiful words. You can say, "I am not ready to believe this." You can say, "I am afraid I will lose control." You can say, "I do not know who I am without constant correction." These are meaningful truths. The old system may have organized your whole life. It gave you rules. It gave you goals. It gave you a way to explain pain. Whenever something went wrong, it said, "Fix yourself." Whenever someone left, it said, "Find what is wrong with you." Whenever you felt uncertain, it said, "Become better before moving." Whenever you needed comfort, it said, "Earn it." The system was painful, but it was familiar. Without it, there may be open space. Open space can feel frightening. You may wonder what will guide you. You may wonder whether you will still achieve. You may wonder whether you will become selfish, lazy, careless, or weak. These fears can be met one at a time. You can choose values instead of threats. You can choose responsibility because integrity matters. You can choose work because contribution matters. You can choose rest because your well-being matters. You can choose boundaries because dignity matters. You can choose kindness because the way you live inside yourself matters. You do not need shame to make these values real. You may discover that you act more clearly when you are not spending so much energy fighting yourself. You may complete a task without the extra burden of proving your value through it. You may apologize without collapsing into self-hatred. You may receive feedback without losing your whole sense of self. You may say no before resentment grows. You may ask for support earlier. You may become more responsible, not less, because you are no longer hiding from the pain of judgment. This change may take time. The old crossings were repeated often. You may still hear the harsh voice first. You may still feel guilt before relief. You may still return to self-blame during stress. The smaller sentence is here for those moments. It asks less. It does not demand full belief. I am willing to loosen one strand. You do not have to loosen them all. One strand. The strand that says you must solve every problem tonight. The strand that says another person's mood is your responsibility. The strand that says a tired day proves something bad about you. The strand that says you must explain yourself until everyone agrees. The strand that says one mistake has canceled all your growth. Choose no strand at all if choosing feels like another assignment. The sentence can choose for you. I am willing to loosen one strand. Willingness leaves room for fear. It does not require certainty. It says that some small part of you is open to another way. That small part is enough. You have built entire days from smaller beginnings. You have lived through moments when you did not know the next answer. You have continued with only a little strength. You have found your way through feelings that once seemed endless. One willing part can begin. The hand does not need perfect confidence to touch the braid. It only needs care. It can start at the loose end. It can feel where the first crossing gives. You may discover that the first strand is not what you expected. Perhaps it is the belief that you must always understand yourself. You may have turned self-awareness into another demand. Every feeling must have a reason. Every reaction must be traced. Every difficult day must produce a lesson. Sometimes you do not know. Sometimes you are tired. Sometimes many small things have gathered. Sometimes the reason becomes clear later. Sometimes the reason is less important than the care you need now. You are permitted to say, "I do not understand this yet." That sentence does not make you unaware. It makes room for honesty. Perhaps the first strand is the belief that you must be positive. You may fear that sadness will attract more sadness, or that anger will ruin your peace. So you correct the feeling before listening to it. You place bright words over pain that needs acknowledgement. You tell yourself to be grateful while part of you is grieving. Gratitude and grief can exist together. Hope and fear can exist together. Love and disappointment can exist together. You are not required to choose the acceptable feeling and hide the rest. A feeling is not a moral failure. It is part of your present experience. You can respond wisely without denying that it is there. Perhaps the strand is the belief that you must forgive quickly. You may pressure yourself to move on because pain makes other people uncomfortable. You may call your own boundaries bitterness. You may return too soon to situations that have not become safe. Forgiveness cannot be demanded as proof of goodness. Distance may be necessary. Protection may be necessary. Support may be necessary. You can refuse revenge without reopening access. You can wish for peace without pretending trust has been restored. You can care about your own heart without placing it back into careless hands. The braid teaches patience. A knot cannot be bullied into openness. Pressure may tighten it. Fingernails may catch. The hand must slow down. This is not weakness, it is skill. Your most guarded places may need the same patience. The part that expects abandonment may not relax because someone says, "You are safe now." It may need repeated experiences of being respected. The part that fears rest may not soften because you take one afternoon off. It may need to learn that rest does not lead to punishment. The part that believes needs are dangerous may not speak clearly at first. It may whisper. It may become emotional. It may apologize while asking. You can remain patient. You can hear the need beneath the apology. You can practice saying it more directly next time. You do not need to criticize the first attempt. Every new movement can feel awkward. The braid has known one shape for a long time. The strands may return toward the old crossing because that is where they were held. You can guide them again, not angrily, not with disappointment, again. This may be the quiet practice of the coming days. When you call yourself lazy, you return. When you make someone else's silence mean you are unworthy, you return. When you turn a mistake into a sentence against your whole self, you return. When you begin explaining a boundary beyond what is needed, you return. When you postpone kindness until you have improved, you return. Returning does not mean repeating a perfect statement. It may mean stopping for one breath. It may mean changing one word. Instead of "I always ruin things," you say, "I regret what happened." Instead of "I am impossible," you say, "I am having difficulty expressing this." Instead of "I should be over this," you say, "This still hurts." Instead of "I am weak," you say, "I need support." Instead of "I do not deserve rest," you say, "I am tired." The simpler sentence is often the truer one. The cruel sentence adds old meaning. The honest sentence names the present. Present truth can be handled. A complete judgment cannot. If you decide you are hopeless, there is no clear next step. If you say you avoided a conversation because you were afraid, there are choices. You can prepare, you can ask for support, you can write down what needs to be said. You can choose a safe time. You can accept that the conversation may still be uncomfortable. Care does not remove challenge. It helps you meet challenge without becoming your own attacker. The handover continues each time you stop doing the inner critic's night work. The critic may still bring reports. It may place old memories before you. It may remind you of what has not changed. You do not have to sign every report. You do not have to reopen every case. You can say, "This has been considered." You can say, "I will address what is mine." You can say, "The rest does not need to be decided now." You can place the thought down without solving it. The unfinished braid will still be there when you are ready. Nothing is lost by moving slowly. You may have believed that urgency was the only thing keeping you safe. But urgency can make every strand look like an emergency. It can make you pull where patience is needed. It can make you cut away parts of yourself that only needed understanding. You are not an emergency. Your unfinished life is not an emergency. Your healing is not late. Your worth is not waiting for the final strand to come loose. You are worthy while the braid is still held. You are worthy while your hands are learning. You are worthy while resistance remains. You are worthy while you need help. You are worthy while you change your mind. You are worthy while you face what must be faced. The handover is not complete because you never doubt again. It is complete each time you refuse to make doubt your judge. It is complete each time you act from care rather than self-threat. It is complete each time you say, "I can learn without abandoning myself." You may feel only a small shift. A little less pressure behind the eyes. A little more space in the jaw. A little less urgency to explain. A little more willingness to leave one question unanswered. That is enough. The braid does not need to fall open in a single motion. One strand has begun to move. The old shape is no longer the only shape available. You can carry this knowing with you, not as another rule, not as another standard, as quiet permission. You may stop fixing for a moment. You may soften without earning it. You may remain worthy while becoming. You may belong to yourself before the work is done. This belonging changes the way you meet responsibility. It does not tell you that every choice was right. It does not say every relationship must remain unchanged. It does not ask you to ignore consequences. dismiss another person's pain, or avoid the actions that are yours to take. It says you do not have to abandon yourself while you face them. You can stand beside yourself and still be honest. You can offer yourself care and still say, I need to make this right. You can understand why you acted as you did and still choose differently now. You can acknowledge your fear without giving fear permission to harm someone else. You can recognize your wounds without using them to excuse every response. This is not a softer form of denial. It is a stronger form of truth. When you are no longer using all your energy to prove that you are bad, you have more energy to understand what happened. When you are no longer collapsing beneath shame, you can listen more clearly. When you are no longer defending your whole worth, you can consider another person's experience without feeling that their pain has erased you. You can say, I see how that affected you. You can say, I was not aware then. You can say, I understand more now. You can say, I am sorry. You can say, I cannot change the past, but I can change how I move from here. These words do not require you to punish yourself forever. A sincere repair is not made more sincere by endless suffering. An apology is not made more meaningful by refusing yourself peace. Learning is not proved by carrying the same shame into every new day. The braid can be loosened without pretending it was never tight. You can look at the crossings. You can see where one strand pulled against another. You can understand how the tension formed. You can decide not to shape yourself that way again. Then your hands can move forward. You do not have to keep tightening the same place to prove that you remember. Some part of you may believe that if you stop feeling guilty, you will repeat the mistake. But guilt and wisdom are not the same. Guilt may alert you that something matters. Wisdom helps you choose what to do next. Guilt says, keep hurting. Wisdom says, become more careful. Guilt says, you must never forget what this proves about you. Wisdom says, remember what this taught you. Guilt keeps your attention fixed on the old crossing. Wisdom guides your fingers differently the next time. You can carry the lesson without carrying the sentence against yourself. You can become someone who responds with greater care because you understand the cost of carelessness. You can become someone who speaks sooner because you understand what silence created. You can become someone who asks for help because you understand what happened when you tried to carry too much alone. You can become someone who pauses before reacting because you know what fear can say when it feels cornered. This is growth rooted in respect. It does not need to humiliate the earlier version of you. That version was living with the awareness, strength, support, and choices available then. Perhaps you now see what you could not see before. That is not evidence that you should have known everything. It is evidence that you know more now. Use what you know. Do not use it to injure who you were. The past cannot learn from your cruelty. The present can learn from your care. There may also be relationships where you have taken too much responsibility. You may have believed that every conflict was yours to repair. You may have apologized to restore peace, even when you were not the only person who caused the harm. You may have explained another person's behavior to yourself until your own pain disappeared from the story. You may have said, "They are stressed. They had a difficult past, so they did not mean it. They love me in their own way." These things may be true. They may also be incomplete. Someone can be stressed and still be responsible for how they treat you. Someone can carry old pain and still need to seek help instead of placing that pain onto you. Someone can care about you and still behave in ways that are unsafe. Someone can have good qualities and still be unable to offer the relationship you need. Understanding does not require continued access. Compassion does not require you to stay available for repeated harm. Love does not require you to keep your boundaries loose enough for another person to pull you back into the same painful shape. You can care and create distance. You can forgive in your own time and still refuse contact. You can hope someone heals without volunteering to be present for every stage of their struggle. You can wish them well and choose a different life. You can stop trying to fix yourself into someone who can tolerate what should not be tolerated. This is one of the deepest strands. You may have spent years believing that if you became less sensitive, the relationship would stop hurting. If you became more patient, their behavior would become easier. If you communicated perfectly, they would finally understand. If you asked for less, they would give more freely. If you became calmer, they would stop becoming angry. If you proved your loyalty, they would stop testing it. You may have believed your pain showed a weakness in you. You tried to strengthen yourself against what kept hurting. But becoming numb is not the same as becoming strong. Ignoring your signals is not the same as becoming peaceful. Staying where you feel unsafe is not proof of love. There are moments when the most caring act is to loosen your involvement. There are moments when your life needs practical protection. You may need support from people you trust. You may need professional guidance. You may need a safety plan. You may need to speak with someone trained to help. You may need to document what is happening. You may need to leave. You may need to stop answering. You may need to place physical distance between yourself and harm. Nothing in self-acceptance asks you to remain in danger. Nothing in these words should be used to silence the part of you that knows something is wrong. Your safety is not an obstacle to love. It is part of love. Your boundary is not a failure to understand. It is an understanding of what you can no longer carry. You do not have to wait until another person agrees with your boundary. A boundary is not a debate about whether your experience is valid. It is information about what you will do to care for yourself. Someone may be disappointed. They may call you difficult. They may say you have changed. They may accuse you of being selfish because the earlier shape benefited them. Their reaction does not automatically mean your choice is wrong. You can listen for truth without accepting every accusation. You can examine your behavior without returning to complete self-blame. You can ask, was I respectful? You can ask, was I clear? You can ask, did I act in a way that protects my well-being without trying to punish? If your delivery was imperfect, you can improve it. You do not have to remove the boundary. You can say something necessary awkwardly and still have the right to say it. You can tremble and still mean no. You can cry and still leave. You can feel guilty and still protect yourself. Feelings are not always instructions. Guilt may appear when you stop performing an old role. Fear may appear when you choose yourself. Sadness may appear when you accept that someone cannot meet you as you hoped. These emotions do not prove that you should return to the old crossing. They may show that the strand has been held there for a long time. Stay patient with the shape that remains. The braid may be open while the strands still curve toward one another. Your mind may understand the change before your body feels safe inside it. Give the new position time. You may need repeated evidence that saying no does not make you bad. You may need repeated evidence that resting does not make you useless. You may need repeated evidence that asking for help does not make you weak. You may need repeated evidence that love can survive your honesty. And there may be relationships where it does not survive. That can be painful. It can also reveal what the relationship required from you. If a connection only remains while you hide your needs, it is not your needs that destroyed it. If affection disappears when you stop overgiving, it may have been attached to what you provided. If someone punishes you for becoming clearer, the clarity did not create the problem. It exposed the tension already woven there. You do not need to turn this understanding into bitterness. You can see clearly without hardening. You can mourn without returning. You can remember what was good without denying what was harmful. You can hold two truths at once. You loved them. The relationship hurt you. You wanted it to work. You could not make it healthy alone. You miss what you hoped it would become. You are still permitted to move forward. This is not failure. It is the end of trying to fix yourself into the only person carrying the entire relationship. You were never meant to do both sides of the work. You cannot communicate for two people. You cannot become honest for another person. You cannot create accountability in someone who refuses it. You cannot respect a boundary on behalf of the person crossing it. You cannot heal another person by remaining available for their harm. You can care. You can speak. You can offer a chance for change when it is safe and appropriate. Then you must let their choices belong to them. This is where healthy softening becomes clear. You loosen what is yours. You do not take hold of someone else's strand and try to control it. You do not pull yourself tighter to maul. Their pattern look different. You do not accept responsibility for an outcome that depends on another person's willingness. You act with integrity. You protect what matters. You leave room for reality. There may be grief in this room. You may grieve the time you spent trying. You may grieve the version of yourself that believed more effort would finally make the connection safe. You may grieve the future you imagined. You may grieve that love was present but not enough to create mutual care. Do not rush this grief. Do not turn it into another flaw. You are not weak because something mattered. You are not foolish because you hoped. You are not broken because leaving hurts. Pain does not always mean the decision was wrong. Sometimes pain is what you feel when you stop denying the truth. Sometimes it is the feeling of an old crossing being opened. The strand may resist because it remembers the shape. Your hands can remain steady. You do not need to pull it back into place just to stop the discomfort. You can let sadness move without interpreting it as a command. You can say, "This hurts, and I am still choosing what protects me." You can say, "I miss them, and I still remember why I left." You can say, "I wish it were different, and I accept what is." Acceptance is not approval. It does not say harm was acceptable. It does not say you deserved what happened. It does not say you must be grateful for pain. Acceptance says you are no longer using all your strength to argue with the fact that it occurred. The event is part of your history. It does not need to become your identity. You can acknowledge the strand without wrapping your whole life around it. There may be no satisfying explanation. Someone may never apologize. They may never understand the effect of what they did. They may continue telling a version that protects them. You may never receive the words you waited for. This is a difficult form of loosening. You wanted their acknowledgement to free you. You wanted them to name the truth. You wanted proof that your experience mattered. Your experience matters even without their agreement. Your pain does not become real only after someone else recognizes it. Your boundary does not become wise only after someone else approves it. Your healing does not need permission from the person who hurt you. You can believe yourself. You can seek support from people who respond with care. You can speak to a qualified professional when the experience is too heavy or confusing to process alone. You can build safety in practical ways. You can stop waiting for the person who created the wound to become the person who closes it. This does not mean you never speak to them. It means your life is no longer paused until they understand. Your peace is no longer entirely dependent on their response. You begin returning the responsibility to its rightful place. What they did belongs to them. What you do now belongs to you. You cannot rewrite their choice. You can choose how much access they have. You can choose where you seek care. You can choose which patterns end with you. You can choose the tone you use inside yourself. You can choose not to repeat their cruelty in your own thoughts. That choice may be one of the deepest forms of freedom available to you. The voice that harmed you may have remained inside long after the person was gone. It may have become the voice that reviews your body, your work, your relationships, and your mistakes. It may repeat words that were never true. It may make you feel that you are still standing before someone who cannot be pleased. You do not have to keep their shift running inside you. You do not have to continue their work. You can recognize the voice. You can say, "This did not begin as my truth." You can say, "I have heard this before." You can say, "I do not need to shape myself around it now." The voice may not disappear immediately. It has been repeated. It has been crossed through many strands. But each time you refuse to repeat it, the tension changes. Each time you choose a more accurate sentence, the old voice loses authority. You are not foolish. You were trying to survive something difficult. You are not too sensitive. Your feelings carry information. You are not unlovable. Someone's inability to love well is not a complete measure of you. You are not a burden. Having needs is part of being human. You are not weak for needing help. Support exists because human beings are not meant to meet every difficulty alone. You are not selfish for protecting your energy. Your capacity is real. You do not need to keep proving that these statements are true. You can practice living as though they may be true. That may begin with one choice. You stop answering a message that only reopens harm. You take a break before resentment becomes sharp. You tell someone you need support. You make the appointment you have been delaying. You admit that a relationship does not feel safe. You finish the task that belongs to you and leave the rest where it belongs. You decline what you cannot carry. You do not add a long apology. You do not insult yourself afterward. One choice loosens one strand. The whole life changes through these small movements, not instantly, not perfectly, repeatedly. You may still return to an old pattern. You may answer when you meant not to. You may over-explain. You may stay too long in a conversation. You may doubt yourself after making a wise choice. Do not use the return as proof that you cannot change. See where the strand tightened. Become curious. What were you afraid would happen? What did you hope to receive? What old role did you enter? What support was missing? The purpose of these questions is not to interrogate yourself. It is to understand where care is needed. Perhaps you returned because loneliness felt heavier than the familiar pain. Perhaps you explained because silence once led to punishment. Perhaps you overgave because receiving still feels uncertain. Perhaps you ignored your limit because you feared being judged. Now you know where the hands can begin again. You can respond to loneliness with support instead of returning to harm. You can practice silence in safer relationships. You can receive in small ways. You can tolerate someone's disappointment without treating it as danger. You do not need to master these things at once. You need only refuse to turn the difficulty into a verdict on your worth. This is the new responsibility, not perfect behavior. Faithful return. You return to the strand. You return to accuracy. You return to dignity. You return to care. You return to yourself. There may be another area where you have confused softening with giving up. You may fear that if you stop fighting yourself, your dreams will disappear. You may believe your ambition depends on dissatisfaction. You may think the only reason you have achieved anything is because you never felt good enough. Perhaps criticism did push you forward. Perhaps fear kept you working. Perhaps comparison created urgency. You do not have to deny that this method produced results. You can acknowledge the cost. What did it feel like when you reached the goal? Could you receive it? Could you rest? Could you feel proud? Or did the mind immediately find another standard? Achievement cannot satisfy a wound that believes worth must always be earned. The wound turns every success into another requirement. It says, now maintain it. Now do more. Now prove it was not luck. Now become worthy of what you have received. You may have reached many goals without ever arriving emotionally. Your body was there. Your work was finished. The moment had come, but your inner voice had already moved ahead. You can choose another way to pursue what matters. You can want more without calling the present self inadequate. You can work toward a dream because it expresses something meaningful within you. You can develop a skill because you enjoy becoming more capable. You can create, contribute, serve, and build without turning every result into a measurement of your right to exist. Your dreams do not need your hatred. Your purpose does not need your humiliation. Discipline does not require daily rejection. A strand can be arranged with care. It can be guided without being yanked. It can be held without constant pain. Your goals can have structure. Your days can have commitments. Your choices can have consequences. And your inner life can still be kind. This kindness may make you more consistent. When one mistake does not become a total collapse, you can return sooner. When one tired day does not become proof of failure, you can rest and begin again. When feedback does not destroy your identity, you can use what is helpful. When success does not become a new threat, you can enjoy it. You may discover that self-respect is steadier than self-pressure. Pressure rises and falls with fear. Respect remains connected to what matters. It says, "This promise matters, so I will honor it." It says, "My body matters, so I will care for it." It says, "My work matters, so I will give it attention." It says, "My limits matter, so I will not pretend they are endless." It says, "My future matters, so I will take a step today." it also says, "My present self matters, so I will not abuse this person in the name of tomorrow." You do not have to choose between acceptance and growth. They can be crossed together without tension. Acceptance says you are worthy now. Growth says you are still learning. Acceptance says you belong. Growth says you can choose again. Acceptance says your humanity is not a flaw. Growth says your actions still matter. Together, they create a shape that can hold without hurting. There may be parts of you that are beginning to soften as you hear this. There may be other parts that remain guarded. Both are welcome. You do not need to produce the correct emotional response. You do not need tears. You do not need relief. You do not need a sudden sense of freedom. Sometimes the first sign of change is that you hear a familiar, cruel thought and do not fully believe it. Sometimes it is that you become tired of repeating the same judgment. Sometimes it is that you feel 1 second of space before reacting. Sometimes it is that you ask for help before reaching your limit. These moments matter. They are the places where the braid begins to rest differently. You may want to mark this choice in a small outward way. If these words have helped you set down even one old judgment, you may comment, "Released." Not as a promise that every strand is free, not as proof that you will never return to the old shape, as a quiet recognition that something no longer needs your grip in the same way. One word is enough. Then you continue at your own pace. No performance. No pressure. The important movement is not the comment. It is the way you meet yourself after this moment. When the old thought returns, will you tighten it? Or will you place patient fingers around the crossing? Will you say, "Here is the belief that love must be earned again"? Will you say, "Here is the fear that a mistake will make me unworthy"? Will you say, "Here is the habit of taking responsibility for another person's choice"? Recognition creates space. In that space, you can choose. You may choose the smaller sentence again. I am willing to loosen one strand. You do not have to feel ready for the entire life beyond it. You only need willingness for this moment. Willingness to stop one insult. Willingness to leave one question unanswered. Willingness to accept one need. Willingness to place one boundary. Willingness to seek one form of support. Willingness to believe that love is not waiting for your perfection. The hands continue. The movement remains slow. The strand does not need to be forced. You are not trying to become a person who never struggles. You are becoming a person who does not leave when struggle appears. You remain near yourself. You remain honest. You remain responsible for what is yours. You return what belongs to others. You protect what needs protection. You seek help where help is wise. You change what can be changed. You stop punishing what needs care. This is how the old shape begins to open, not through one perfect decision, through a new relationship with every imperfect moment. You are not required to approve of everything you have done. You are invited to stop using it as a reason to deny yourself love. You are not required to remain where you are harmed. You are invited to believe that your life is worth protecting. You are not required to carry every relationship. You are invited to let other adults hold their own choices. You are not required to give up your dreams. You are invited to stop making self-rejection the fuel. There is room for responsibility. There is room for growth. There is room for grief. There is room for boundaries. There is room for support. There is room for you. The braid can loosen without falling into chaos. The strands can return to movement without losing their place. You can soften and still stand. You can care and still say no. You can love and still leave. You can change and still respect yourself now. You can be unfinished and remain whole. This is the strand you carry forward, not the demand to become perfect. The willingness to remain. The willingness to remain can now move from thought into the body. You have understood enough for this moment. You do not need another explanation. You do not need to examine every sentence. You do not need to decide whether you are doing this correctly. The body has carried the old crossings too. It has remembered what the mind tried to forget. It has tightened before difficult conversations. It has prepared for criticism before criticism arrived. It has held the breath while waiting for someone's reply. It has stayed alert when you wanted to rest. It has gathered itself tightly so you could continue looking calm. Your body was not betraying you. It was trying to help you remain safe. It learned to hold the shape that life once required. It learned where to tighten. It learned when to become still. It learned how to keep feelings from becoming visible. It learned how to carry a long day without asking whether the carrying was kind. Now the hands within you can meet that holding. No part needs to be commanded. No part needs to relax immediately. The fingers do not become angry with the braid because it remains tight. They begin where there is room. They wait where there is resistance. They do not pull faster than the strand can move. Your breath can become part of that care. There is no perfect way to breathe. You do not need a deep breath if a deep breath feels difficult. You do not need to count. You do not need to fill your lungs completely. L. At the next breath, arrive in its own size. Then give a little more attention to the breath moving out. The out breath does not have to carry everything. It can carry one small portion, one crossing, one demand, one old instruction. The next exhale can remain ordinary. Nothing dramatic is required. The body may soften a little. It may not. You are still staying. That is enough. Begin with the hands. These hands have done so much. They have worked, held, prepared, answered, cleaned, carried, protected, reached, pulled away. They may have clenched during moments when you wanted to speak. They may have held a phone while you waited for reassurance. They may have typed explanations you were afraid to send. They may have hidden tension by keeping busy. You do not need to make them completely still. Let the fingers rest in whatever position they have chosen. They do not need to hold your worth. They do not need to correct the past. They do not need to keep every strand in place. On the next breath out, my hands stop holding what is not here. Let the palms become a little less responsible. They do not have to grasp the next answer. They do not have to prepare for tomorrow before tomorrow arrives. They can remain open or closed. The shape is not important. What matters is that you no longer accuse them of tension. You understand why they held. You understand why they worked. You understand why rest may feel unfamiliar. Let the softening move toward the wrists. The wrists have followed every demand placed upon the hands. They have turned toward work, toward care, toward duty, toward the needs of others. They have rarely been thanked for how much they helped you carry. On the next breath out, my wrists loosen the day's demands. Now the forearms. They may feel heavy. They may feel almost absent from your awareness. You do not have to create a feeling. You are only meeting what is present. These arms have reached toward people you loved. They have held things together. They have continued when you wanted to stop. They have carried what belonged to you and what did not. On the next breath out, my arms return the weight that is not mine. Let the upper arms become less prepared. They do not need to brace. They do not need to prove strength by remaining tense. Strength can also be the choice to stop carrying alone. Strength can ask for support. Strength can place something down. Strength can admit, this is too much for one person. The shoulders may have been waiting for these words. They have held invisible duty. The responsibility to keep everyone calm. The responsibility to prevent disappointment. The responsibility to perform well. The responsibility to understand everything. The responsibility to become better before receiving rest. The shoulders may not lower immediately. Do not push them. Do not pee. Lull them into a peaceful shape. Let them hear that the shift is changing. On the next breath out, my shoulders are no longer on duty for everyone. There may still be tasks for tomorrow. There may still be people you care about. There may still be choices to make. But your shoulders do not need to carry those choices before their time. The braid was held through repeated crossings. It will not open through one command. The hands remain patient. The shoulders can remain where they are and still be treated kindly. Now bring awareness toward the neck. The neck has carried the head through long hours of thought. It has stiffened while you reviewed conversations. It has tightened while you held back words. It has stayed ready while you looked for signs of danger or rejection. You do not have to force movement. You do not have to stretch. You can acknowledge what it carried. On the next breath out, my neck stops guarding every unfinished thought. The jaw may be holding words. Words you did not say. Words you wish you had not said. Words you repeated inwardly. Words of criticism. Words of defense. Words of apology that were not yours to give. Words of need that felt too dangerous to speak. Let the jaw remain exactly as it is for one moment. Then see whether it can become 1 degree less responsible. Not open, not loose. Only less responsible. On the next breath out, my jaw sets down the words I cannot change. The tongue can rest. It does not need to prepare an explanation. It does not need to defend your right to have a boundary. It does not need to create the perfect response for a conversation that is not happening now. You are not standing before anyone's judgment in this moment. You are here with yourself. The face has worked too. It has smiled while you were tired. It has appeared calm while you were afraid. It has hidden disappointment. It has tried to look acceptable, interested, confident, easy, untroubled. Let the muscles around the mouth know they are not being watched. On the next breath out, my face no longer performs for unseen eyes. The cheeks can stop holding the day's expression. The forehead can stop solving. The space around the eyes can become less alert. You do not have to make the eyelids heavy. You do not have to close them. Your eyes have searched for approval. They have read messages again. They have studied faces. They have looked for proof that you were welcome. They have looked for proof that you were not. They can stop searching for one moment. On the next breath out, my eyes stop looking for reasons to doubt myself. You are still here without the proof. You remain yourself without another person's immediate reassurance. The absence of an answer is not an answer about your worth. A changed tone is not a complete truth about you. A delayed reply does not need to become a sentence again. It's your heart. Let the breath move toward the chest. This place may have carried the effort to be enough. The chest may tighten around affection, around fear, around the possibility of loss, around the wish to be chosen, around the memory of being overlooked. You do not need to open your heart on command. You do not need to welcome what does not feel safe. You do not need to forgive before you are ready. You can protect this place without hardening against yourself. On the next breath out, my chest softens around the need to earn love. Let the ribs be held by the breath rather than pushed by expectation. The breath knows how to move in a small space. It does not judge the space. It enters. It leaves. It returns when it is ready. The heart continues without asking whether you completed enough today. It does not wait for perfection before continuing its work. You do not have to turn this into a promise about life. You can receive it as evidence that care is already happening within you. Now the belly. This may be where fear has gathered before words formed. The belly may tighten when something feels wrong. It may hold worry about the future. It may react to memories. It may contract when you expect criticism. You may have judged this response. You may have called yourself anxious, weak, dramatic, or difficult. The body was speaking. It was not giving a final command. It was offering information. You can listen and still choose carefully. On the next breath out, my belly is free from proving that everything is fine. You do not have to pretend peace. You do not have to force certainty. You can be unsettled and remain worthy. You can need time. You can need facts. You can need support. You can need distance. The belly does not have to become silent before you respect yourself. Let the lower back and hips receive some of the attention now. These areas may have carried the effort of keeping you upright. They may have held you through long work, long waiting, long uncertainty. You do not need to decide what they should feel. Only acknowledge the labor. On the next breath out, my body stops carrying the shape others expected. The thighs can stop preparing to run toward approval. They can stop preparing to run away from discomfort. They can remain. Remaining does not mean staying in harm. It means staying emotionally beside yourself while making the choice that protects you. You can leave a place and remain with yourself. You can end a conversation and remain with yourself. You can disappoint someone and remain with yourself. You can change direction and remain with yourself. On the next breath out, my legs no longer chase permission to belong. Let the knees be released from the demand to stay strong every moment. They have bent, carried, supported. They may have felt uncertain. They may have continued anyway. You do not need to prove strength through stiffness. You can be supported. You can pause. You can choose a slower pace. On the next breath out, my knees soften the fear of beginning again. Now, the lower legs. They have moved you through days you thought would never end. They have carried you toward work, responsibility, connection, solitude, and change. You may not have thanked them. You do not need to offer perfect gratitude. Awareness is enough. On the next breath out, my lower legs leave old urgency behind. The ankles can stop balancing the entire future. They only need to hold this position, this moment, this amount of weight, no more. On the next breath out, my ankles are steady without knowing every next step. And now the feet. The feet have touched every place you entered. They have stood where you were welcomed. They have stood where you were not treated well. They have carried you toward people. They have carried you away. They have waited while your mind decided whether leaving was permitted. Your feet do not need permission to protect you. They do not need to remain where your life is repeatedly diminished. They can move when movement is wise. They can rest when rest is needed. On the next breath out, my feet are free to choose the path that honors me. The whole body does not need to feel different. It is enough that each part was met without accusation. The hands were not told to stop being tense. The shoulders were not judged for carrying. The face was not asked to smile. The chest was not forced open. The belly was not silenced. The legs were not ordered to move. The feet were not ordered to stay. This is what belonging feels like in practice. You meet yourself where you are. You bring honesty. You bring care. You choose from there. The braid may still have many crossings. Some may soften today. Some may need more time. Some may require help beyond private reflection. You can seek that help. You can speak with someone trustworthy. You can work with a qualified professional. You can take action that protects your safety. There is no failure in needing skilled hands for a knot that has become painful. You were never required to do all of this alone. For now, let the sentences become shorter. You do not need to analyze them. You can hear each one and leave it where it falls. You do not need to repeat every line. Take only what fits. Let the rest pass. I am not a problem to solve. I remain worthy while learning. I can change without rejecting myself. I stop using shame as instruction. I return responsibility to its rightful place. I do not carry another person's choices. I can care without disappearing. I can love without abandoning myself. I honor the signals within me. I seek support when support is wise. I protect my life without apology. I am permitted to leave harm. I can set a boundary imperfectly. I do not need everyone's agreement. I can survive another person's disappointment. I stop explaining what I already know. I believe the experience I lived. I can grieve and move forward. I carry the lesson, not the punishment. I make repairs without destroying myself. I am more than one mistake. I am more than one reaction. I am more than someone's opinion. I can be uncertain and still choose. I can be tired and still matter. I can rest before everything is finished. I do not earn care through exhaustion. I do not earn love through usefulness. I do not earn belonging through silence. I stop shaping myself around rejection. I loosen the need to appear perfect. I loosen the fear of being seen. I loosen the habit of over-explaining. I loosen the demand to know everything. I loosen the pressure to heal quickly. I loosen the role of constant strength. I loosen what was never mine. I keep what is true. I choose what is kind. I face what is mine. I return what is not. I stop the inner punishment. I remain beside myself. I can begin again. I can move slowly. I can ask. I can receive. I can refuse. I can leave. I can stay true. I am learning. I am human. I am here. Still worthy. Still whole. Still mine. One strand softer. One crossing open. No more proving. No more punishment. Care remains. Love remains. I remain. Let the last line rest. Do not check whether you believed every word. Belief may come slowly. The body may need repeated experience before the new shape feels familiar. This is not delay. This is how a long-held strand learns that it is no longer required to stay tight. You may return to pressure tomorrow. You may hear the old voice. You may feel the familiar need to fix, explain, manage, or prove. Nothing has been lost. You can find the loose end again. You can stop one sentence. You can take one out-breath. You can place one demand down. You can remember that a returning pattern is not a final defeat. It is another place to practice staying. The old braid was formed strand by strand. Your new relationship with yourself is forming the same way. one kinder response, one honest boundary, one request for help, one period of rest, one refusal to turn pain into identity, one moment when you remain. The softening continues, not because you have forced it, because the hands have become trustworthy, because the hands no longer tear, because they do not punish the knot, because they understand that every crossing once had a reason. The reason can be honored. The tension does not have to remain. You do not need to finish tonight. You do not need to complete the unwinding. The next strand will be there when you return. For now, the body has done enough. The mind has done enough. The inner worker can step away. You are not leaving yourself unfinished. You are leaving yourself cared for.